Kyle Rubaski. In May 2018, a person with good intentions walked into the Bartlett Police Department in Illinois, USA. He found a lost puppy and brought it to the village's police department. The man had been driving by when he saw the dog on the side of the road. He was afraid for its safety and so picked it up and brought it to police. With the little pup being found dehydrated, there was a need for fluids and supportive care. After she was given these, she started to recover. However, police soon discovered that there was something a bit different about this supposed puppy. After closer inspection, their suspicion became that it was this case of mistaken identity. What do you think it was? The rescued animal was very similar to a dog, but it subtly differed from any other puppy. Kyle and his co-workers soon realized that it wasn't the average puppy. Kyle picked her up and noticed how her fur had a different feel to it. It was warier, her paws were a bit bigger than the average dog too. Her sharp nails also drew our attention. Kyle began to wonder just who this little creature was. He decided to search the internet for photos of baby coyotes, and sure enough, he found it looked just like a coyote. The baby coyote had apparently gotten separated from its litter. Kyle's relation to his colleagues was met with a wave of both shock and excitement. It's not every day that you get to hold a coyote in your hands. Fortunately, the little coyote seemed to be in good health with no apparent injuries. She was too young to be released on her own, so the police reached out to the Willowbrook Wildlife Center for help. The staff knew that she would be cared for in the company of other coyotes, so she couldn't retain her wild instincts, and with a bit of luck, she would one day be fit for release, which is exactly what happened. A short while later, the little girl was released back into the wild. While there was some confusion about this case at first, there's no doubt about one thing. It's one Kyle and his colleagues won't soon forget. It's completely understandable to confuse a coyote pup for our dog puppy, as they're both canines and clearly resemble one another.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Craig McGettrick. When you're just a little animal, it can be tough to navigate your way through a world dominated by humans. Luckily, there are plenty of living, breathing heroes out there who will go out of their way to right the wrongs when animal and human contraptions collide. Craig McGettrick was cleaning up his neighborhood in Liverpool, England. It was a group effort to tidy the mess that had been accumulated around the local area. The neighborhood had become a dumping ground with people throwing litter and leaving their old belongings in the street. It would only get worse if something wasn't done about the growing problem soon. It was also just plain disgusting to look at every day, and Craig was eager to have a beautiful area outside his home again. Everyone spread out with gloves, bags, shovels, and the motivation to really get stuck into the task at hand. No one expected to stumble upon 5 tiny lives stashed inside a mattress that had been heaped atop a pile of rubbish bordering the woods. But that is exactly what Craig found. In a pile of discarded rubbish, Craig continued the difficult task of bagging what he could and transporting the bigger items to cars nearby for removal. This pile contained an old mattress that began moving and squeaking. When Craig pulled it towards himself, he put the bag down and turned around to see if anyone was there playing tricks on him. But no one was in close proximity to him. Craig immediately began searching for the source of the noise. What do you think he found? Craig was shocked when he peeled open the bag and dug down to the bottom to see 5 tiny black puppies. The animals were so tiny with their eyes closed tight, they looked like they were fairly newborn. Craig couldn't quite make out if they were indeed puppies or kittens. What do you think they were? He thought someone had either dumped them, knowing that the group was going to remove rubbish, or that a stray mother dog had abandoned them in the heap and moved on. He called out to his friend Becky, and together, they quickly found a cardboard box to keep the pups safe on the way to the animal rescue center. They lined it with anything soft they could find and found a hot water bottle to add to the makeshift den to keep the babies from catching a chill during transportation. When they got to the rescue center, things started to get a bit weird. They needed to be fed every few hours with a bottle and puppy replacement milk for them to grow up strong and healthy. Puppies with their eyes still closed are way too young to survive on their own. They would need a miracle to pull through. Craig and Becky took photos of the adorable, cute pups to remember them and then handed them over to the people at the animal center. They wanted to post these pics on social media and see if they could get a lead as to who dumped them there, other than a cruel-hearted human owner that that threw a litter of unwanted puppies into a rubbish heap. There may be another theory. It crossed Craig's mind. Perhaps, and it was unlikely in this neighborhood, but just perhaps a stray mother dog had given birth in that mattress. The photos started to circulate on Facebook and people started saying some pretty strange things. One woman saw the photos and took a double take. She wouldn't want to cause a stir if she wasn't right, so she carefully checked her information. What immediately stood out were the little creature snouts. However, there was another telltale sign that these weren't puppies at all. Suddenly, Craig's Facebook post exploded with people flooding it with all their comments as to what exactly the puppies could be. Hundreds of posts came through in minutes, flooding the post with speculation and doubt. The majority of the comments were from people who seemed to think that they were not pups at all. In fact, one commenter was completely sure they were something else entirely. There were specific details that led people to believe that they were not puppies. For one, the long noses in the particular picture. Sure, it could be that some dogs have long noses, almost like baby raccoons. But there were other strange things too. Another Facebook user noticed that the tails were unlike any puppy he had ever seen. They were very long, almost half the length of the pups' little bodies. He was sure that the puppies were in fact some type of wild rodent. I mean, if you look at rat, when they're born, they have incredibly long tails. Of course, he had no means to judge size from a photo, so it was completely possible. Still, something wasn't adding up here. Posting the pictures online seemed to be getting them nowhere near close to finding out where the puppies came from and, in the best case scenario, to see if they could secure wonderful forever homes for the abandoned fur babies. One comment took them by surprise. The information they received in a direct message was something that sent shockwaves through them. It came directly from a welfare authority, so they knew the information was founded on truth and knowledge. One thing was for sure now, they had to get the little babies back from the animal rescue center and take them straight back to where they were found. Right away. Time may have already been running out. The photos eventually found their way to Martin Hamilton, founder of the National Fox Welfare Society. Becky had sent a few photos over to him, asking if the babies in the photos were indeed fox cubs. Martin confirmed they certainly were, and Becky informed him that they had been taken to a rescue center in Liverpool, mistakenly as puppies, not fox cubs. Fox cubs don't initially look like foxes when they are cubs, so it's very common for people to mistake them for puppies. They are brown in color as opposed to the red ginger color of adults. The mother fox could have possibly been using the mattress as a den. Vixens leave their cubs all the time while they're in the den. As they get older, they'll begin to explore the surroundings more and more and become less dependent on mom as they get older. However, these fox cubs were newborns, so they hadn't left their den yet. Obviously, no one was going to claim the fox babies, so the only option was to put them back where they were found and hoped mom would return back to feed them. There was one problem though. The rubbish pile contained the mother fox's den for her cubs had already been removed as the cleanup continued, and there was no way to put them where they had once been. The experts would need to be called in. Once again, they were put in contact with the National Fox Welfare Authority, who were having to help. Martin got in touch with Paul and asked if he could pick up the cubs from the Animal Rescue Center. Paul wasn't in the area, but he got a volunteer to pick the cubs up and deliver them to him. Once Paul received the cubs, he did the best thing possible and took them back to the garden to try to reunite them with their mother. He didn't give the cubs any milk in order for them to be hungry, so they'd cry out and call for their mom. Around 4 p.m. the same day, Paul put them together again for her, as he knew the mom would be looking for them and she might have been checking that last place where she remembers seeing them. He also put a hot water bottle into the box to keep the babies warm. He waited and waited, and an hour later, the mom arrived. They finally caught a glimpse of a slinky mother fox coming to investigate the box on the ground. She just couldn't stay away from the cries of her hungry babies calling for her. She checked inside and then firmly gripped one cub by its neck and took it away with her, but she didn't come back. Paul believes once she picked up the first one and knew the others were safe in the box, she waited until it got dark to get the rest, and she must not have felt safe moving the cubs in daylight. Sure enough, as the sun went down, she returned for another and then another until they were all back where they belonged. By 7 o'clock, the mother fox had taken every single one of her babies. He sent a photo of the empty box to Craig and Becky, who were delighted that the cubs were reunited with their mom. As it would have been a tragedy, not only for the cubs to not be brought up by their own mother, but for the mother to lose her cubs. What animal have you mistaken for a puppy? Tell us in the comments below. We love hearing what you have to say. I hope you like this video. Please share it and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.